Apparently, there's a group chat full of 400,000 racist white people, white servers apparently, from Texas Roadhouse and the Logan's restaurant. So, what they're trying to do is if someone black comes into one of their restaurants, they will take their order, the servers will take their order, they will make the food in the back, and the people in the back will spit in their food, they will lick their fingers and put it all over the food, but only to black people. So yeah, that is pretty disturbing. And Texas Roadhouse on TikTok did respond to this. You know, the typical corporate response of like they are committed to treating every customer with respect, that there is no discrimination or no one is treated unfairly, you know, things like that. Then they made another response saying that they found the reports unfounding or something, but they're still investigating. But this is the post from either the page or it was just posted somewhere on Facebook, and the person responding is a real person. I found their profile, so this is a real person responding to this post. Now, personally, I don't believe it's 400,000 servers between Texas Roadhouse and Logan in this group. I do, however, believe that there are around 400,000 racist people, or maybe it's not even 400,000. I just don't think it's all just servers. I think it's just a group of racist people. All I can say for us black folk is do not eat at Texas Roadhouse, do not eat at Logan's. And I normally don't say don't eat at a place, I don't advocate for that, but for this, until this investigation is completed or the right people are fired, just don't eat at these places. Y'all stay aware and stay safe. Apparently, there's a group.
We're watching America unravel, ladies and gentlemen. The racism has reached its peak. We're looking at a deterioration. We're looking at a degeneration. We're looking at moral depravity on another level. And you got a lot of things going on right now. You got the Jake Lane N-word march with the hard ER. Yeah. You got that march that just took place where Jake Lane got paws laid on him by Spider-Man. And they just recently showed the identity of the brother who laid paws on Jake. And I believe Jake was also arrested because apparently they rolled up on a curve into a crowd over there in Minneapolis. And, you know, it was a complete fiasco. It was anarchy and chaos. And then on top of that, you got Gary, Indiana, ladies and gentlemen, is still without power, y'all. Gary, Indiana is without power. And they're going on day 13. And I'm going to tell you, it is complete anarchy out there. There's no gas. There's helicopters everywhere. People are trying to get out. All of the main roads look like parking lots. It's complete darkness at night. People are getting their homes broken into for generators. And this has been going on for weeks. And we already know, we know the reason why they haven't got to our people there in Gary, Indiana. And also, there's more power outages. There's some in Georgia. There's some in certain parts of Tennessee. And these data centers are really causing some issues. And we're going to talk a little bit about that because we are watching Babylon unravel, ladies and gentlemen. And as far as these restaurants go, you got to cook your own food. You got to cook your own food. I've seen Texas Roadhouse segregate Black customers. There was an incident where a lady found staples in one of her rolls, and she happened to be a melanated woman. I'm telling you, man, these people cannot be trusted. And the race soldiers have been let out full-fledged. And also, you have this situation with Lindsay Clancy. It's still picking up steam because, of course, it's an open trial. And we got to discuss what's going on with that, ladies and gentlemen, because there's already been an uptick in infanticide already. And that's something I warned people about in my last broadcast regarding that trial with Lindsay Clancy, the woman who murked her 3 small children. And now she has a cult-like following rallying behind her. And there's a huge trending topic going on right now about mental health, right? But nonetheless, man, we're going to dig through what's going on in society right now as it pertains to biblical prophecy. So I want everybody to get the likes up as you enter the broadcast. Make sure y'all stay nothing short of interactive. Y'all know how we give it up. Nothing but the truth. Welcome to the home of Truth Maxing. Nubreed. They working against us. They hate our souls. They hate us. They hate our righteous indignation. They hate the exaltation that dwells in us. They hate our love for the They hate our convictions. They hate the fact that we repented. They hate the fact that we truthful, honest, and bold. They hate our courage. Them devils hate us. We're not finna line ourselves up with these weirdos and freaks, but these weirdos and freaks. They working against us. They hate our souls. Weirdos and freaks. But these weirdos and freaks, they working against us. They hate our souls. Nubreed.
They working against us. They hate our souls. They hate us. They hate our righteous indignation. They hate the exaltation that dwells in us. They hate our love for the Creator.
Ladies and gentlemen, we still here, man. We are still here. Ugh. Ladies and gentlemen, hey, sometimes the adversary just works against us, man, especially when the message is powerful and, you know, the message is bringing some real awareness. You're going to face adversity. You know, recently, all kinds of forces been trying to rise up against the message, and it's been tough to just put out content. And it's a spiritual attack. And I know, like, everything was working fine before we started the stream. And when I tell you everything just glitched out, everything from, I mean, I literally had no control over the computer. I reset it a few times, and still, when I got back into this software, nothing would work. So listen, ladies and gentlemen, I'm gonna need y'all to do me a solid, and I need y'all to get the likes up. You know, this particular stream would have had a lot more people if we would have had that constant flow. But listen, nonetheless, we got to do what we got to do. But y'all gonna have to allow me a minute or two to just get my sources back up and ready. And you know, it is what it is. You know, the devil is a lie. We still here, you know. And patience is a virtue, no doubt about that. So y'all give me one moment and we're gonna get into this, man. So for those just joining, we're talking about a myriad of different topics right now. You know, everything from the Jake Lane march to the power being out in Gary, Indiana. We're discussing Lindsay Clancy and how she murked her 3 children, and people came together and fundraised over $1 million for her. We're talking about the racism going on in this country, and we're tying this all together from a biblical perspective. So you can expect, you know, adversity to be present. Now we're gonna get into this. I got some sources I want to get to. I'm getting everything back ready for y'all. But ladies and gentlemen, we're watching society unravel right in front of us. And we're not going to allow these devils to kill our momentum and kill our drive, right? Now, for those who don't know, also there's some viral Facebook post with a group of 400,000 plus people who claim that they're going to be spitting and putting all kind of bodily fluids in Black people's food in Texas Roadhouse and connected locations, right?
Texas Roadhouse faces backlash over claims that employees were discussing in a Facebook group to spit in Black customers' food. Listen to this. Here it is. To all you Blacks in here, keep this in mind. Hope you enjoy your meal next time you eat out. There is a Facebook group that I am part of, and it is for white servers. We have come up with a plan. When a table of Black diners comes in and places their order, we walk back to the kitchen to get your food when ready. There is always a blind spot in the kitchen, and we are licking our fingers and touching your food. If it happens to be a Texas Roadhouse or a Logan's, those rolls are full of white saliva. Some of the cooks are in on this too. Think they are playing. They aren't. Believe me, this has been going on since y'all started this nonsense with Carmelo, the candy bar, Anthony crap. By the way, the group has over 400,000 members. Enjoy all yours food. This is allegedly, it's on the ledge of allegedly, of course. But a lot of people are talking about this. And what do you guys think? Stay safe out there. This is pretty disgusting behavior. I'm not going to eat out. That's why you should cook at home. That's why a home cooked meal, you lick your fingers. It's just your fingers you're licking that's getting in your food. But this is some nasty, disgusting activity. Allegedly, right? We don't know. It's my opinion that people are talking about this. So I have to report on it. But this is, it's just, what do we do in America? This is so sad. Anyway, Secret Service Sam out Samson for president of the world.
Well, what do we expect from heathenistic wildebeests? What do we expect from these devils? Y'all got to understand these establishments and corporations are ran by people who don't have no love for you, And at the end of the day, we know growing up, certain locations are really not for us. And you can feel the environment. And no, we don't want racial tension. We don't want to feel like, we got to be segregated in 2026. But unfortunately, ladies and gentlemen, that's just what it is. And, I believe everything that happens is for the greater good of those that love the Most High. I believe the Most High wants us to get back in our kitchens, prepare our meals. It's something very spiritual about using your hands to prepare your meal and feed yourself and your family. It's something that's very spiritual about that. Even just sitting around having meals with other people present is a spiritual situation. And you can't break bread with everybody. Why would you want to actually sit down and have a meal where you are not wanted? It's a spiritual connection. That's why I don't even like sharing meals with everybody. If I break bread with somebody, I genuinely have their best interests at heart, and I understand the connection and bond of breaking bread. And I know you're not necessarily sitting at people's tables, but you're in their environment. You're in that bigoted, racist smog. You in that heavy, tense environment where people are side-eyeing you. You got to do what you got to do. You got to eat your food at home. Because these people are sick and disgusting, and these racists are running wild. This is pretty much Trump's America.
There's a group chat with over 400,000 racist people claiming that they are tampering with black people's foods when we go to restaurants. And the restaurants they mention, Texas Roadhouse or Logan's. And I'm quite sure it's way more than that. And people say racism still don't exist. At this point, the best thing to do is stay out those restaurants. Cook your own food. Matter of fact, look at this shit. Listen.
This shit ain't funny. I have a message for y'all today, and it's from a Facebook group called White and Proud. And this is a message that white servers have for black people. So I'm going to read it for y'all crazy, just so I can spread awareness. But anyways, it says, to all you blacks in here, keep this in mind. Hope you enjoy your next meal next time you eat out. There is a Facebook group that I am a part of, which is this one that I'm reading from, and it is for white servers. We have come up with a plan. When a table of black diners come in and place their orders, we walk back to the kitchen to get your food when ready. There is always a blind spot in the kitchen, and we are licking our fingers and touching your food.
This shit is crazy,
If it happens to
man.
be a Texas Roadhouse or Logan's, those rolls are full of our white saliva. Some of the cooks are in on this too. Think they are playing? They aren't. Believe me, this has been going on since y'all started this nonsense with Carmelo, the candy bar, Anthony crap. By the way, the group has over 400K members. Enjoy y'all's food.
Then Texas Roadhouse put out a statement acting like people was lying. Read it. I'm not saying shit they said. After that statement, they put out this statement. Once shit got hot and they understood that people wasn't playing. Here we go. Read it. Again, I'm not saying shit they said. Now listen to this last video.
Can y'all tell me why there's 400,000 people in a group, a racist group, that is going around and
And ladies and gentlemen, if it's a blind spot in there where they're doing this, who's to say they're not doing more than putting saliva? Who's to say that they're not, doing what those people got caught doing with the turkeys, with Tyson's turkey? I believe it was Tyson's or Butterball. It was Butterball. We don't know what these people are doing.
And whatever else that they want to put in y'all's food.
I guess it's safe to say that we're done with Texas Roadhouse, right? And Logan's, right? We better be done with Texas Roadhouse and Logan's. I'm out.
Listen, we got to support our own peoples, man. There's too many soul food restaurants, Black-owned soul food restaurants. Ladies and gentlemen, we just got to support our own. And Most High is really trying to push us out of our comfort zone. We got to stop relying on the other nations to feed us. I'm telling you, you got to stop relying on them. And, I'm at the point now, I'm looking at all these stories that's taking place, and I don't think they're just a bunch of isolated events anymore. I believe that we're watching symptoms right now. That's right, symptoms. Symptoms of a society that's becoming increasingly volatile. We're looking at moral deterioration going on, racial division, desensitization, all symptoms of a nation that is falling, all symptoms of a nation that will pretty much have no trust for one another. And it's a Babylonian society that we're in. I mean, listen, this nation is becoming so accustomed to dysfunction that every week something happens that would have stopped the entire country in its tracks 20 years ago. I want y'all to consider that. And we scroll past it and just get, we scroll past it and we back off our lunch break. Like not a damn thing happened when we are really in the days of Noah. It is evident. There's a psychological term, ladies and gentlemen, and it's called anomie. 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 Now, that term, it pretty much describes conditions where the moral standard and social bonds that once held a society together begin breaking down. That's what we're seeing right now. We're seeing people become disconnected. Common standards are disappearing. Everybody starts operating according to their own truths, their own morality, their own tribe, their own interest. And you know what the book of Judges tell us in 21 and 25? Every man did that which was right in his own eyes. That's what's going on. Godless generation. And you can see it when this chaos breaks free. And it's happening all but everywhere. Here we got Gary, Indiana, still in the dark. 12 days.
Today is Sunday, August 23rd, and 28,495 households in Indiana, most from the predominantly black city of Gary, Indiana, have been without power for 12 days. That's 12 days with food rotting in refrigerators, empty grocery stores, no fuel because gas stations are closed, no clean drinking water, medications like insulin going bad. Schools have been closed since the 11th. Gary, Indiana, a town of 69,000 residents, is 76.2% black, 10.4% Hispanic or Latino, and only 11% white. 1/3 of the residents live in poverty. Residents said that the storm had already cost their families thousands of dollars in spoiled food, lost wages, hotel bills, fuel for generators, and other costs endured during the blackout. And how much has the Trump regime authorized? $5 million, up to $5 million of federal assistance, while the storm damage being tallied now has already reached $550 million and could climb as high as $5 billion.
Goodness. That is a lot of damage, ladies and gentlemen. And the question is, why are we getting little to no mainstream news coverage on this? I think we all know why. I think we all know why.
The damage came from an August 11th storm whose winds reached 99 miles per hour and caused power outages to 370,000 households. From the New York Times, on Saturday, as power returned to some customers across northern Indiana, Gary residents said they were angry and despondent to find themselves once again at the back of the line.
We're on day 9 of no power in Gary, Indiana.
My neighbor across the street, my teacher down two streets down. We have no air in here.
Schools are closed. Families are throwing away spoiled food. People are driving to Illinois just to find ice for insulin.
So I was curious on how the crews prioritized their work. How did Gary end up at the back of the line? And I found these updates from NIPSCO, the power company responsible for the affected storms area. They only started releasing these updates on the 18th, a week after the storm hit, but what they released is interesting. So on the 18th, they were working on Beverly Shores, a 95.2% white community, Cedar Lake, 85.6% white, Crown Point, 77.6% white, Hannah, 68.6% white, Hebron, 95.9% white. On the 19th, NIPSCO expected power to be back on in DeMott, 90.7% white, Hobart, 65.3% white, Kingsbury, 89% white, Kingsford Heights, 76% white, Maryville, 33% white, Michiana Shores, 88% white, Mill Creek, 93.7% white. And today, 12 days later, the only major population center left without power is Gary, Indiana, which has 69,000 residents, of which 11% are white, 76.2% are black, and 10.4% are Hispanic or Latino.
I think we've seen this movie before, and somebody said it in the chat. This is Hurricane Katrina 2.0. We've seen this movie before. Y'all remember Kanye saying George Bush don't care about black folks? And look, it's happening all over again. And honestly, this is one of the most important stories tonight, but we're definitely going to pivot. But, you know, because when you look at the internet arguing over a lot of viral controversies, American citizens have been sitting without electricity, ladies and gentlemen. And they've been sitting without gas, without clean drinking water. And at some point, we got to understand that this is war, that this is being done on purpose. We got to understand how strategic this is. And still, to show the heart and soul of our brothers and sisters, our foundational Black American brothers and sisters that's over there in Gary, Indiana, they have not really raised hell out there. Of course, yeah, there's people getting robbed for generators. You can expect that. But the death toll haven't went up. Our people are not crashing out on each other. I believe personally that they are testing. Gary, Indiana is being basically used as a testing ground right now. And it's for future power outages. Power outages are coming in America. They're already here. I hate to say they're coming because there's outages in different states right now as we speak. America is unraveling. All right. Babylon is falling. Yes. Are we going to stand strong and face the storm? Absolutely. God's people are going to come out up top. Esau, the end of the world, and Jacob got next. Esau's world is coming apart. So they're desperately trying to destroy us.
It's no wonder residents feel left behind. Quote, "We are being left behind every time something goes on. Gary is left behind. We are the last ones on the totem pole to get anything done." Now, I don't have a full picture of how NIPSCO worked to restore power. It could simply be coincidence that the predominantly white cities had their power restored before the majority black cities. It could be a coincidence that since Trey Reed's hanging death in Mississippi last September, 13 more black people have died in suspicious hangings and drownings across the country. It could be a total coincidence that the Proud Boys and other white supremacist groups stopped being publicly active at the same time that clearly untrained, unfit, and unqualified ICE agents started brutalizing people on the streets. I also find it fascinating that there isn't the same online fervor that we saw after Hurricane Helene devastated rural Appalachia. The internet back then was on fire about how FEMA wasn't helping, about how the federal government had abandoned the citizens. The right-wing conspiracies got so bad that there were armed militia groups going around harassing aid workers. Now, I'm not saying that the response to Helene was perfect. No disaster response is perfect. But a week after Helene hit, the Biden administration had provided $137 million of federal assistance. They had sent 1,500 active duty troops, 6,100 National Guard, and 7,000 federal civilian personnel. And meanwhile, the Trump regime has approved just $5 million in federal aid to Indiana. In December, Indiana deployed 300 of their National Guard troops to Washington, D.C. for the D.C. Safe and Beautiful Joint Task Force, a stark contrast to.
So as you can see, you're getting a totally different response in their communities than we're getting. You're getting a whole nother level of aid when it comes to catastrophes in other places that are predominantly white. It's evident that, listen, the numbers don't lie. The numbers don't lie.
The 70 National Guardsmen and women that they have deployed for the storm relief. What's your priority here, Governor Mike Braun? This video is from the 21st. It shows National Guard and FBI deployed in DC standing around a school doing nothing.
Hi. Can you tell me why the FBI is hanging outside the school right now and in large groups on multiple blocks, specifically with the FBI?
It's in the sidewalk.
I mean, shouldn't you actually have a better answer than, like, loitering en masse?
The inadequate government response to disasters like Katrina, to the tornadoes that devastated black neighborhoods in St. Louis in May of 2025, to this latest disaster in Indiana is what people mean when they say the U.S. is a racist country. The stunning loss of representation for black Americans due to the Supreme Court's decision in May, a decision that granted states permission to redraw congressional maps to eliminate majority black districts, is what racism looks like today. It's not about culture wars or identity politics. It is state-level, systematic discrimination, suppression, and oppression. Here's a page from Book Club Chicago on various ways that you can help, and PSL Chicago also has resources.
Yep. So as you can see, ladies and gentlemen, these people have waged war against the children of the Most High. And this war been going on for quite some time. You know, here you have a storm that hit August 11th. 2 weeks later, thousands upon thousands of people are still without power. Not 2 hours, not 2 days. We talking about nearly 2 weeks. People got refrigerators. People got medication. There's elderly family members, children, businesses. People have food spoiling. People need medical equipment. People have to work. And on top of all that, guess what? The bills ain't even going to stop coming in just because electricity stopped working. You know, you got some of the schools reopening before the families can even recover. Like, it's getting sick out there. You know, a whole lot of businesses have lost revenue. I'm pretty sure it's really the mom and pop stores are taking a major blow right now. People are probably burglarizing them. And then you got residents asking, like, where is everybody? And now the story is just beginning to get a little bit of broader national attention. You got the governor demanding an investigation. The mayor's demanding answers. You know, state resources have been deployed. However, it's just not enough. You got 5 million in state resources when, you know, you got 500 million in damages. I'm telling you, these people are wicked, man. These people are wicked, and they want to say that we're making it a race issue.
So let me get this straight. I make a video about what's going on in Gary, Indiana and the surrounding areas, and people telling me stop making it a race thing and that I'm race baiting. Quite frankly, it is a race thing because Gary, Indiana, Hammond, Indiana, East Chicago, Indiana, predominantly black and brown places are still without power. Y'all don't understand. To go over a week without power is insane. People losing their food, their medicine. People's houses are flooding because in those areas, they got a lot of old infrastructure, so they need sump pumps still, and they're unable to literally drain the water in their house, so their house is flooding. What makes it a racial thing, or what's perceived to be a racial thing, is that all these surrounding counties in Indiana have already had a timeline of when their power should be restored, yet Gary, Hammond, East Chicago, those places have not received a timeline. I seen a video where a man was saying that they talking about sometime in September. Y'all don't understand. There's people choosing their food over their own necessities for a generator. Most generators only have two slots. So one is obviously for a sump pump to keep your house up, and then the other would be, you know, logically for your refrigerator. But when your neighbor don't got a generator and you done live next to these people for 20 some years, you gonna give them the other slot for their sump pump. So now y'all both without food, just trying to maintain and stay alive. So let me get this straight.
Yeah, man, it's gonna get real out there.
I make a video.
It's gonna get real. Like, I mean, how long before just utter chaos breaks free and there starts being casualties in the streets? So, you know, we got to do our part by spreading awareness in regards to this, ladies and gentlemen. So I need everybody to get the likes up on the live stream. We had some technical issues earlier that kind of hindered our momentum and algorithm somewhat. However, we still here. And if you can, ladies and gentlemen, just get the likes up to ensure that people are able to get this stream. All right. You know, and they always want to call us conspiracy theorists. But listen, it looks like somebody's conspiring against God's people. That's what it looks like to me. And it's not just happening in Gary, Indiana.
Something is happening to the power grid right now in the U.S. And I don't think enough people was paying attention to this. Look at what happened to 3 different parts of the U.S. First, you had Gary, Indiana. You had a massive storm hit with the winds reaching up to 100 miles an hour. So the power goes out. But here's the problem.
I don't want to get hit with copyright, but it's Gary, Indiana. You got Memphis, and you also got Southern California. So that we're clear. All places where Ussens is at. All places where we at is getting hit.
We know why they not coming out here, though. I mean, it's obvious, you know. It's obvious. Gary is full of, you know, us, diversity. Yeah. Not really diversity, but it's full of black people. Yeah. You know, we the blackest city out here. So they don't want to check on us. Yeah.
They're NIPSCO. Everybody pays them. We don't pay, we get cut off. But when disaster happens, they want to charge us X amount of dollars, but we already paying into this. They got billions, trillions of dollars. We working day to day on paychecks. So yes, they could have did better. They got the money. We don't got the money. They say they supposed to maintenance that yearly. They haven't been out here in a year or 2, maybe 3 years. I can't sleep at night because I can't plug my sleep apnea machine up. I can't afford a generator. I'm working on a month salary. So therefore, we need them to either give us generators or get this power up and running. We got a 91-year-old man that lived at the end, almost at the end of the thing. They had to rush him to the hospital. We had an elder lady across the street. She had medical condition. She bedridden. People come out to help her also. So we really need them to work more faster because we don't want to lose no lives if we don't have to. Our governor needs to get his butt out here and see the damage. You going in these other neighborhoods, you need to go through the whole city of Gary.
We do see, like, you know, people trying to give out free food and, you know, just give back. The community definitely is doing something with the giving back. They've been giving away free food, especially at the Y here. They've been giving out free food to us in showers, hot showers. So it's definitely good that we all coming together finally. Yeah. We just need more coverage for sure. We need to come together as a community and get it together. We won't be struggling as bad as just one person just struggling. If all come together, we'll be good. You know, something like this, they're giving out free water, free cakes, and famous people here and stuff. We need that. We definitely need that.
Yeah, man. So y'all see what's going on in Gary, Indiana, man. You know, we definitely got to pray for our brothers and sisters out there. Put the word out. Because, now it's other states being hit. A lot of people don't worry about these things until it hits their home. You know what I mean? Until it gets close to home, right?
So now it's Indiana, Georgia, and parts of Arizona, including Memphis, Tennessee, 100,000 without power now. That's not even the crazy part. Say the only thing that has power is Elon Musk's data center. Now, if you think that's a coincidence, you're on the wrong side, bro. They blaming it on a tornado, like they don't geoengineer all weather.
Straight up, it's geoengineering. I believe it's hard weather modification. I believe it was a targeted attack on our people. People can call us conspiracy theorists all they want, ladies and gentlemen. What say y'all, though? Let me see. Carla says, after this disaster, get your house in order now and prepare with foods, power generators, and gas generators. Absolutely. That is some great advice. Somebody in the chat also asked, did I hear about them spitting in the food or that Facebook post? Yes, I actually did cover that earlier. And so you might have to watch it from the beginning. Yep, there are issues in Georgia as well. Yep. Different parts of Georgia is interesting because I was at Costco the other day and the power went out for a couple minutes. Right as we were checking out, the power went out. And I'm going to tell you, it's something about when the power go out, your first thought is it coming back on? Number one, that's your first thought. And then you try to be optimistic and, but imagine you optimistic and you expecting that power to be turned on in a few minutes, couple hours or whatever, but it never turns on for 2 weeks. That's when things get crazy, because I could tell you when that power went out in Costco the other day, it came back on in like a minute. But when it went out, I could tell you this right now, it changes. It changes the environment. The first thing you wondering is, where's my firearm? Who else in here got a firearm? Soon as the power go out, you expect somebody to be like, everybody get on the ground right now. It's just something about you being in anywhere where all the power goes out. You just expect somebody to yell, everybody get down, you know what this is. You know what I'm saying? You're just waiting for it, right? So just to put ourselves in the mind frame of this can happen at any moment, anywhere. And I just think, this is one of those situations that really need awareness, because it's happening already. It's like we'll be talking about, hey, power outages are coming and this is coming. But then when it starts happening, everybody want to ignore it. Last week we were talking about this, ladies and gentlemen, say, look, power outages are coming. And look, lo and behold, they're here. They're here. So it's time to prepare. Get your generators together and take this thing seriously. And, we got more news now. I want to pivot over. I don't know if y'all know this, but Sandra Massey, may she rest in peace. May she rest in peace. The cop who murdered Sandra Bland in cold blood, he died of colon cancer. I believe it was yesterday in federal prison. Or he might have been in state prison, not sure. But he died of colon cancer. People are chiming in on it. And I want to share my thoughts as well on this situation.
Huge breaking news. Former Sangamon County Deputy Sean Grayson has passed away in prison. He had been battling stage 4 colon cancer, and in July of 2026, he found out that it spread to his liver, lungs, and rectum. Now, if you're not familiar with what he did, on July 6th of 2024, a woman named Sonia Massey from Springfield, Illinois, called police because she thought there was somebody lurking around her house and she was scared. 2 officers, one of them being Grayson, responded to the call. They looked around the property, but they didn't find anybody. So they go and talk to Sonia for a little bit outside, and then they all go inside her house. Now, the other officer was walking around and kind of doing his own thing, but as Grayson and Sonia were talking, he noticed she had a pot of boiling water on the stove, and he asked her to go turn it off because he was scared that it could cause a fire. So she complied, and just joking around, she said, "I rebuke you in the name of Jesus." And at that point, his tone completely changed. As you can see, he withdrew his GUN, and he flat out told her that he was gonna, in her face. He got scared and ducked down behind the counter, but he came around and he did it 3 times. She passed away right there in her kitchen floor. So she had called the police for help, and then she ended up losing her life. He tried claiming he did it because he was scared she was gonna throw the water at him. But he was arrested and faced several charges, including 3 counts of first degree His trial was in October, and on the 29th, he was found guilty of second degree. And on January 29th of 2026, a judge sentenced him to 20 years in prison, which was the maximum he could have gotten. Due to his ongoing medical issues, his attorney had petitioned for early release, but on July 31st, it was denied. And then today, August 23rd, his attorney confirmed that he passed away in prison. Huge breaking.
Well, you know what, ladies and gentlemen, I call that divine justice. The Most High judged him. You know, he went in there knowing he already had cancer, by the way. And I believe he wanted to execute wrath, anger, and racism, his bigotry out on Sandra Massey, who called the police for help. And that woman was murdered in the middle of her kitchen because she said the name Jesus. That's really what happened. That demon, Grayson, Sean Grayson, was a demon. It manifested, it came out, it lashed out, and it claimed this woman's life. And now Grayson is, you know, he's done. His chapter is closed. That book is closed. There's closure in the situation. And I pray that the family of Miss Massey just can heal now. Because honestly, for rotten pigs like that, sometimes incarceration isn't enough. Sometimes it isn't enough, you know. Sometimes they need to suffer being incarcerated for some time and then die horribly alone in that jail cell for what he did to that woman. And, you know, I remember covering that story a couple years back, and it was really a sad story, man, because it was on camera and that thing was going viral everywhere. So, you know, I'm glad that justice has been served. The judge made the right decision, giving him 20 years. That was good. Second degree, that's good too, because, you know, Sandra did have water nearby. Maybe, you know, the argument was that she could have thrown it because she said, "I rebuke you." But we all know what it is, and the judge clearly know what it was too. So it is what it is. Nothing can really bring back this young lady. And at least her last words was Jesus. You know, and I know Christ's real name. We already know the Most High winks on our ignorance. He knows when who we're speaking to and who we're speaking about. And that was her last word. So, you know, she's more than, you know, she's in the heavens. She's in the bosom of Abraham, and he's in hell's. He's dancing with the devil right now. So it is what it is. I don't really have no sympathy towards him. I respect law enforcement that do their job the correct way, and they're not running around here terrified, willing to just take people out. Right? It's a fair game in this situation. It is what it is. And people are chiming in on this. I'm gonna get a couple other people's take on it and see what they're talking about.
Sonia Massey was a woman who called 911 because she needed help. And when police arrived, Officer Sean Grayson ultimately shot and killed her after she, seemingly in a not great mental health state, said, "I rebuke you in the name of Jesus." And that set him off. And he shot and killed her. And myself and others made videos when that body cam footage came out saying, "Hey, this guy murdered her." And I got pushback. Like people saying, "Oh, she tried to throw a pot of hot water at him." And I did videos showing how it looked like she actually was just kind of flinging it away from herself. That way you flinch when you see something coming. She saw that gun coming over the top of the counter. And people were big mad. Like, I got death threats over those videos. Not that I don't get death threats on a regular basis, but I got a lot of them around this video. And then Sean Grayson was arrested and charged with second-degree murder. And then, in October of last year, he was convicted of second-degree murder. And now today, former Deputy Sean Grayson was sentenced to 20 years in prison for murdering Sonia Massey. He will spend 20 years in prison for what he did. And I say that, one, to bring the story full circle, but also to point out that while right now it seems there is no accountability coming for the agents who killed Alex Peretti, coming for the agent who shot and killed Renee Good, there is no statute of limitations on murder. 6 years from now, 10 years from now, a different administration, Those chickens are going to come home to roost. People are going to be held accountable for their actions.
Yep.
Sonia Messi was a woman who called 911 because she needed help.
Hey, time and chance waits for no one. Everybody gonna have their day. Everybody has to face judgment. You know, you're not getting away with anything. And Jake Lane, he got a little bit of retribution himself. So Spider-Man beat the bricks out of Jake Lane. A little bit of lighter news. We got a little bit of lighter news. My son, my 4-year-old son loved it. He might listen, me and my 4-year-old son watched that thing like 5 times. You know what I'm saying? My son loved it, right? He laughed every time that brother dressed in a Spider-Man suit swan dived over the security and laid paws, fisticuffs. Then he laid paws on Jake Lane. And that's kind of a strange angle right there, the video. But listen, I'm going to tell you this right now. He got what was coming to him, and he ended up getting arrested. And but the Spider-Man, he got arrested too. The cops brung him in. They didn't take his mask off. And just now, his identity got revealed.
The first brother to step up in this revolution so far, he tore Jake Lane's ass up. You understand what I'm saying? He got exactly what he deserved. He fucked around and he found out. Brother put belt to ass.
They got the brother GoFundMe up too, man. I think they're trying to raise $14K for the brother. They're gonna bail him out. You know, FBI is gonna bail the brother out. Now personally, when I heard about this whole Jake Lane N-word march, I was like, man, no, what? We don't even need to be out there. I didn't expect no damn vigilante justice. I don't listen. The new Spider-Man movie just came out too, so y'all got to look at the signs. I don't know. Some of this stuff be crazy. Maybe dude just went and seen that Spider-Man movie and said, you know what? I'm gonna act like Miles Morales for real in real time. So I think they're halfway through the fundraiser. I guess they raised $7K and some change on GoFundMe. But wild stuff here.
He was dressed as Spider-Man, but I knew it was a brother. It was the style of fighting. It was the haymakers. It was the tenacity. I just know the athleticism of black men. And I knew it was a black man. First one to step up. That's actually T. I just wanted to share. That's our Spider-Man. Hey.
Man, bro wasn't playing. I mean, listen, the way he jumped over that security, I'm telling you, Jake Lane he looked baffled. And then Jake ended up getting arrested too.
Approximately 11:50 a.m., far-right extremist and known racist Jake Lang arrived near Minneapolis City Hall around the corner of 3rd Avenue and 4th Street. Both vehicles then drove onto the sidewalk in front of City Hall toward a crowd of people that were gathered there. Minneapolis police officers responded in an attempt to get the vehicles off the sidewalk, as well as to keep the peace. Officers tracked both vehicles after they left, and with the assistance of Minnesota State Patrol, we were first able to stop the vehicle at the intersection of 35W and Washington. And the second vehicle was stopped in Bloomington with the assistance of the Bloomington Police Department. All individuals that were in the 2 vehicles have been arrested by the Minneapolis Police Department, including the racist Jake Lang. All occupants were arrested and both vehicles were impounded. Approximately 11:50.
So this domestic terrorist, Jake Lane, apparently was basically mowing people over or causing causing a situation where people could have got mowed over, and they arrested him. You know, police came in and got him. You know, that's why I tell brothers and sisters, like don't let these white supremacists gaslight you, have you going outside. Sometimes you may have some decent police officers, and they see that these people are strumming up racial tension, and they'll step up, and then they arrested Jake. So good for him. Now I do know that a lot of these commentators be FBI assets too, so you got to look out for that. Like they'll arrest your Chud the Builders, your Jake Lanes, and your Tates. What's his name? Yeah, they'll arrest those people, and really there'll be some federal assets. So we don't even know, like even your Charleston Whites, federal asset. You know, yeah, they out there inciting violence. And you know, it's crazy. Speaking of inciting violence. Hold on, I think I got a better angle of the Spider-Man jump too. Hold on. Look, Jake don't have no squabbles. Look how he holding that umbrella. There you go. Yo, he landed at least 5 of those joints clean. He landed at least 5 clean ones, bro. That's crazy work. That is crazy work. But let me see here. I want to share with you all something, ladies and gentlemen. I want to share with you all something in regards to the Lindsay Clancy situation. You know, of course, this trial, it sparked a media firestorm, but I figure sharing that Spider-Man joint is, you know, some lighthearted stuff, man, because you know we got real live heroes in our community. Yeah, Spider-Man took a leap of faith. He literally, hey man, the Spider-Man movie sales about to go up. Like I said, man, my 4-year-old son, man, he got a kick out of that boy. He was laughing uncontrollably. He was like, "Daddy, that's Spider-Man." I'm like, "Yeah." Hey, it is what it is, y'all. It is what it is. But now we got, speaking of the children, man, speaking of the children, ladies and gentlemen, before we even get into this, let me say this, man. Before I even get into this topic, because when we talking about Lindsay Clancy, would y'all believe that I lost subscribers talking about that situation? Yeah, I mean, good riddance to them. You know, I lost subscribers. I lost support talking about the Lindsay Clancy situation and expressing to people, particularly women, that postpartum is not an excuse to murk your children. It's so many people that sympathize with this woman. I can't believe it. It's like, you know how you just can't, for me as a creator, a content creator, it's certain topics I just can't leave alone because 1 + 1 ain't equaling 2 in this situation. We're supposed to be a Bible people who understand that there's a spiritual war going on and that you can't blame everything on mental health. And then the argument is, was it premeditated what she did? The answer is yes. Let me paint this picture for you. I did this video. Women were blaming men or they were blaming postpartum. The lack of accountability was phenomenal. It wasn't all of y'all. It wasn't a great deal of y'all. It was just a select few. Only a few people dipped out. There wasn't a lot of y'all brothers or sisters. It wasn't a lot of y'all. But that was shocking to me because Here you have a situation where this woman's husband left, went to the grocery store to get medicine for their daughter. Hey, babe, hey, is everything all right? Call her up. Hey, what you doing for dinner? I'm going to go stop by a local carryout. I'm going to bring some food. Yeah, everything's fine, right? The brother comes home and finds Lindsay with her ass spread out across the backyard because apparently she didn't swan dived out of the damn second story window of the house. He sees her laid out and he's like, yo, where are the kids? She says in the basement, right? He goes in the basement, finds the children unalived. The only thing that I wish would have happened is that Lindsay would have succeeded in what she was doing when she swan dived her ass out of that window. That's it. That's the only part she messed up, is when that didn't end for her. Because then we wouldn't have what we got going on now with these women coming together, actually protesting for her, making her some type of hero. And it's something with people, particularly in middle America, where they love their psychopaths. They just love their psychopaths. Now, I want you to consider this. Number one, she walked each one of those children down into the basement. She walked them down to the basement. Now, I want you to imagine that long walk. You walk, a person walking their children down one by one, taking a exercise band and getting rid of the first child. And kids are stronger than they look. They're going to put up a fight. Do you know how long it takes to take somebody out like that? She did it with the first child, the second child, then the third child. Do you understand how severely demonic that is? And now you have this going on all on social media. It is absolutely insane. I cannot wrap my mind around it. This is why I say society is unraveling. There's already been an uptick in infanticide. It's getting crazy, y'all.
We're here to send one message, and that message is that it should not take tragedy for people to start paying attention to mental health. Everyone should be kind each other, not behind each other.
Being here is important because the Massachusetts system, healthcare system, failed Lindsay. She reached out for help multiple times. She told them that she was having thoughts of harming her children and harming herself, and she was turned away countless times.
Lindsay was demon possessed. And it should be evident when y'all see this woman in court. My goodness, she's shape-shifting. I mean, it's absolutely bizarre. She got a 50-yard stare. You can see the demons on her eyes, man.
How is this legal? So some moms have started a movement online called Me Too Lindsay, justifying their thoughts of getting rid of their kids. Then you got people saying stuff like this.
Stop thinking about these kids as people and think about them as ceramic vases for just 1 second for me, okay?
Now they want us to not look at the kids as people, but as objects that she broke. And now her GoFundMe is at $1 million. Yo.
They raised $1 million. Her audience, her cult following, are talking about stop looking at children as children. They're doing demonstrations with their babies in their hands. They're slamming pillows against the wall. They're throwing ice in a bathtub. They're screaming with these insane howls. And somehow, some way, people can't see that this is demonic. This is not, you can't see this as demon possession, that mental health is being used as an scapegoat. Postpartum wasn't even actually invented until the mid 1800s. The mid 1800s, ladies and gentlemen. It was like a French psychologist. He took 79 women and he ran a series of tests and they came up with something called postpartum. And, and it was based on hormonal changes. But guess what? Your body is much more than your hormonal changes. You have a spirit in there. And when you have a child, Satan is going to want to eliminate that child because Satan hates all God's creations. So you're liable to have demonic attacks. There's spirits. Listen, there's demons specifically designated to torment a woman after she gives birth, because that demon wants you to abandon that child. That demon wants you to neglect that child. That demon wants you to, mistreat that child. Why? Because he hates God's creations. That's why you have to have a spiritual foundation. It's all spiritual. They raised $1 million for her. What does that tell you about society right now? When I say this thing is unraveling, imagine a world where people are justifying murking their children. And what if this gets to the point where so many of these people are doing it that there's nothing law enforcement is going to be able to do to stop it? It's going to be like Moloch sacrifice all over again, all over the place, even though it happens at those clinics, at those Planned Parenthood clinics anyway. I want us to understand how incredibly evil Babylon is getting. It's getting crazy. And it's to the point where it makes you understand the importance of cleaving closer to the Creator. It makes you understand that you gotta stay safe out here.
Is this a mass psychosis going on that we're witnessing? How is this not a criminal offense? They've been having rallies outside the courtroom for days, happily saying that, yes, we were in her position. Yes, we wanted to get rid of our kids as well. And you still have the delusional people that believe she didn't do it. Mind you, her Apple Watch shows that she was going up and down the stairs at the same time the husband was at the store on camera. She even called that man. Where are child services? Where are the cops? Because if I got online and said I want to do that to my kids, I don't have no kids, but if I did have kids, yo, these cops would have been at my door and I'd have been locked up right now. More and more I'm starting to see why less people want to have kids and less people want to be in a relationship.
I mean, I'm telling you, man, you got to be careful out here these days, because these protests are just straight up weird.
No way. They're having a support rally for Lindsay, the woman who took the life of her 3 kids. Not saying she's innocent. They're saying they understand why she did it. That postpartum was the cause and that she deserves more help.
This many women in one place at one time who may understand all of us on a level that others don't. So
on a level that others don't understand, you're having a rally about how y'all all thought about getting rid of your kids. That's not a... Whoa, where the cops? Where the police at, man?
Thank you.
Mind you, again, they're not out there because they think she's innocent. They're literally saying she only did it because nobody helped her through her postpartum. That her husband should have took her mental illness seriously. So when do the cops come in?
I literally had somebody donate just to tell me in my last stream that, well, the husband should have showed up. The husband was doing what he's supposed to do, taking care of his family, going out to get groceries, going out to get his daughter's medicine, going out to make sure the children are eating. He helped her check into certain facilities and all of that. And guess what? She never got a diagnosis. She never got diagnosed for a reason, because the doctors didn't see no reason to diagnose her with postpartum. She was trying. Listen, I believe that there's going to be women out here in the future who are going to immediately go get that diagnosis just so they can crash out. I'm telling you, there's women out there that have children, crash out on purpose, blame it on postpartum because they don't want the children. They want to lose the children. They want the children to be in the system. They want the children to be in adoption age instead of just going to put them up for adoption or give them to a family member. This is what these women do. because they don't want to deal with the responsibility. This stuff exists, man. But, you know, it's just showing just how deranged a lot of these individuals are out here.
Because you have a mass group of women outside a courtroom admitting that they also have ideas of doing things to their kids. And there's no, like, what, bro? There's no way to block, no one can go to jail? No way.
That's what I'm saying. So now when these kids start end up missing, what is society going to do about that? King Connect, thank you for the support, my brother. He says, these people be possessed by the spirit of Moloch. It's the same spirit that supports abortion. Is truly demonic and unsettling. The Most High is going to judge this place rightfully so. Absolutely. That's exactly what it is. And the scripture says, place not your children in the fires of Moloch. You know, give those children an opportunity to live. If you don't want to take accountability and responsibility, there are families out there that would gladly raise these children. You know, there are people out there who can't have children. The fruit of their womb is barren, and they would love to take care of these children, raise them up, and give them a good life. Like, if y'all don't want to handle the responsibility, give them up for adoption. It's better than, and listen, and I'm not necessarily for that either, because I do realize that some of these agencies, they involved in some other stuff that I'm not going to say right now, but I mean, listen, this is insane. Accountability must be had. There got to be some accountability for real. Because this is insane. Hold on one moment. Because this lady, wait one moment, y'all. I want y'all to look at this lady. Y'all on that? Wait, hold on. We don't know demon possession when we see it.
Yeah, that's going to be a big fat no.
A grin. She grinned. You can't tell me that's not a shapeshifter. Do we not, like, America, brothers and sisters, do we not have the discernment we used to have? Because I couldn't believe that I got pushed back for the stream I did. I couldn't believe it. I'm like, y'all don't see that this person is rattled with foul spirits? That's not a human. That's an entity. That's a force right there. That's a demon that has manifested. And this is someone who is literally pushing a generation of young, mostly middle American women. But listen, we're not going to put a race on this, because they're pulling up a case with a sister who actually killed her 2 boys. And they're trying to run her another trial. So this is where society is headed. But she's the demon. This is the demon that sparked the brand for this. This is the entity that came straight out of the pits of hell to actually start this. Like, look at this, man. That's a devil.
Yes, she might be possessed. I don't know if y'all saw that little smirk. Yeah, something definitely is not okay, especially if you have to, I don't know, get mad at your ex-boyfriend for breaking up with you because you support a child murderer. Now, here's the story. Difference in opinion. Guy breaks up with her. She's like, well, what's going on? I don't have the same moral, I guess, compass as you, and we do not have anything in common. That is 100% normal. That is okay. But apparently it's not okay to the feminists who think that Lindsay Clancy is not guilty. No, the bitch is guilty. Have women out here saying, me too, I'm Lindsay Fancy. So you would kill your child? Is that what you're trying to convey to everybody? That you are willing to kill your child? You are exactly like Lindsay Clancy. Grr. I am in full support of what that guy did, breaking up with her, because he thought about his future children. And that's exactly what a man would do. He would protect. A good woman, a good mother, wouldn't kill her own children. She would protect as well. Because that's what we are supposed to do. Take care of our children. What's wrong with y'all? A lot. Y'all really must hate yourselves.
My goodness. That is nightmare fuel. You know, they say if you can see when a person's eyes are open and you can see the bottom and the top of the whites, they say that's a psychopath. And all of the serial killer documentaries and all of that, that is the look of a psychopath. It's a 50-yard stare. Like, you're not supposed to be able to see that much of the eye. Something going on with this person, bro. Like, look at that. Bro, hell no. I know the husband knew that she was demon possessed, bro. The husband knew. The husband knew. See, the fact of the matter is, those children's lives should matter. Her children was named Cora, Dawson, and Callan. 3 babies. 3 babies. And of course, her attorneys are arguing that she just had postpartum psychosis, therefore she's not criminally responsible. Prosecutors are arguing that she understood right and wrong. And the truth is, the scriptures tell us. The scriptures tell us in 2 Timothy 3:1, this know also that in the last days perilous time shall come. Perilous time shall come. You're living in a time where you have to convince. I literally have to go through convincing women that this woman was demon possessed, and they still just want to call it postpartum. I don't think everybody's seen everything regarding that. Hold on one moment. Something else I wanted to share. Look at this.
Starting to get convinced that this trial is going to make history.
Hold on. And this trial is going to make history. See, they're trying to get a sister out too that did the same thing. So they're pushing something. There's an agenda here with this case.
2 mothers took their children's life and both claimed severe mental illness, and they both even had the same judge. Stories went very differently. Let's get into it real quick. This is LaTarsha Sanders from Massachusetts. And in 2018, she took her 2 young sons' lives. Just like Lindsay Clancy, the question in her case wasn't whether or not she did it. Her defense argued that she suffered from severe mental illness, so wasn't criminally responsible for what she did. Her family, just like Lindsay's family, says that before all of that happened, she was kind of just acting strange and not like herself. LaTarsha thought the Illuminati was after her and her children. She was diagnosed with schizophrenia and found to have had mental illness for a while now that was untreated and undiagnosed. She was convicted of 2 counts of first-degree taking her kid's life. On social media, you can't say certain words, and was given 2 consecutive life sentences without the possibility of parole. But it gets interesting because those convictions were just overturned, like earlier August, so she'll be getting a new trial. Massachusetts highest court ruled that thousands of pages of psychiatric records that could have helped the jury understand her mental state were improperly kept out of her first trial. And the judge in that trial is Judge William Sullivan, the same judge presiding over Lindsay Clancy's trial right now. Are we watching Lindsay?
Ladies and gentlemen, there's an agenda. We got the same judge proceeding over both of these cases. What are the chances of that? What are the chances of that? There's an agenda. It's a depopulation agenda, ladies and gentlemen. We cannot be sleeping this time. Society is unraveling to the point where these people are going to just be putting their children on the altar of Moloch all over the United States. Like, every time we think we've seen society get worse, they're pushing the envelope. Satan and his minions are pushing the envelope. It is not a game in this time. Like, things are changing right in front of us every single day, y'all. I'm telling you, We got to cry loud and spare not. Listen, the day of Christ is at hand, man. He got to be returning soon, man. This is sick, man. Where they're creating an agenda right now for people to actually murk their children and feel justified in doing it, blaming their mental health. Listen, accountability is key.
This trial having all these conversations about psychosis, mental illness, and whether a mother's mental state changed how we view what they did. Remember LaTarsha, when her trial comes around, I want to see these same conversations. If we're going to give these mothers grace because of mental illness, that grace can't depend on what the mother looked like or where she comes from or what kind of life she.
And see, this is how feminism works. This is how feminism works right here. This is a clear-cut indicator of feminism. Here you got the sister who's the commentator right now. She just wants equal rights. I want the sister to get off for being a baby killer too, because we get postpartum too. Ma'am, are you serious? Like sometimes, ladies and gentlemen, I feel like I'm in an alternative universe. Because this is how feminism works right here. You're going to have the white woman. You have the YT woman first. And then you're going to have sisters say, well, look, we want equal rights to be able to do what? Murk your babies and call it mental health? What are you fighting for, ma'am? Y'all want the right to be able to do this? Bro. I mean, that's a good question, Waves. What sisters, what y'all think about this? Ladies, I would really want to see y'all thoughts on this. Talk to me in the chat. What do y'all think about this? Do I have to open up my panel? I just got to hear some sisters speak against this, bro. Because I don't see, listen, I've scoured the internet. I look near, I look far. I scoured the internet. Just trying to find sisters that are just irate about this. The only video I found was this sister saying, you know what, need to be equal rights on this. Like, ladies, listen, let me be clear. I know mental health is real, and I know the miracle of childbirth. I understand the mental pressure. I understand that it can be difficult, and you go through all kind of changes and imbalances and stress, and then there's recovery. And then there's the demand of getting up in the middle of the night and all of that. Listen, I know, I get all of that. It's stressful. It's not easy. It's not easier. It's not easy being a mother, especially to small children. But ladies, come on now. We're going to sympathize with child murderers and say it's postpartum. No, we're not doing that, are we? Is this, and I know this is a heavy topic. It's a heavy topic because I had women really upset about that video that I did. They were inboxing me like, Bree, you know, it's insensitive. You don't know what it's like. No, listen, I don't know what it's like to want to harm my children. I don't know what that's like. And I'm sure there's other women out there that don't know what that's like either. It's just not an excuse when we're supposed to be Bible people. We're supposed to understand there's a spiritual war. We're supposed to understand these things. Like, what am I missing? What did I miss in that stream where it's like, we've been teaching spiritual warfare all this time, and we think postpartum is a license to kill, and we should sympathize with the woman who does that? No. That's a Jezebel spirit. That's a spirit that won't take accountability. That's an evil spirit right there. That's an evil spirit. Yeah, that's right, Golden Sea. You got to rebuke intrusive thoughts. You can't let it get like that, man.
She lived. But y'all let me know how y'all feel down in the comments. Two mothers.
You can't let it get like that. And you got all these women saying men are the problem. You know, they're coming out and really going against the brothers because of all of this. And this is a wild situation, man. It's wild. Let me see here.
She rubbed hot wax on her kids because her husband left her. Y'all gonna make a GoFundMe for her too? Police arrested 26-year-old Miss Sanchez because she decided to start setting random fires in the kitchen because her husband left her. Then not only did she put hot wax on herself from a candle, she then proceeded to rub the hot wax in her hand and basically make her kids put it on themselves like lotion. She was admitted to a hospital, then arrested. But then you have some on social media stating that the husband knew that she was having a mental breakdown and still left her with the kids because he went back to go stay with his parents. He claims that he did that because they were having issues in their relationship and he felt like it was better to, distance himself. Mind you, the police are just getting this footage of her doing this stuff because she posted it on social media, but nobody reported her to the cops. She might get deported because she is on immigration hold.
What the heck?
It's crazy because there's a
I don't know why it's just freezing, y'all. We've been having these issues all day. And here's the irony of this. Like, the husband is the one getting blamed. The men are getting blamed through all. They got to blame somebody. They're going to blame the man or they're going to blame postpartum. Listen, accountability got to be made, man. Like, feminism in this country is still alive and well. And I thought it would take a downturn because of the Trump administration and the toxic masculinity coming from that. I thought feminism was dying down. I'm like, you know what? Feminism is starting to kind of die down a little bit in America. And it's not. It's alive and well. It's alive and well. Yeah, we've been having all kind of issues this whole stream because, when you putting out the truth, it's adversity, man. It's adversity. And, earlier, my whole system froze. Literally, I had to restart my computer. I had no control over what happened on my screen. It wouldn't unmute. It wouldn't do anything. So that kind of dwindled the numbers down a little bit, but it's all good. We still almost 1,000 strong. It probably would have been 1,400 of us if that didn't happen. However, we here, we here, ladies and gentlemen. And if y'all can get the likes up, we can get this message out even further. Let me see if this source will play all the way through now.
She rubbed hot wax on her kids because her husband left her. Y'all gonna make a GoFundMe for her too? Police arrested 26-year-old Miss Sanchez because she decided to start setting random fires in the kitchen because her husband left her. Then not only did she put hot wax on herself from a candle, she then proceeded to rub the hot wax in her hand and basically make her kids put it on themselves like lotion. She was admitted to a hospital, then arrested. But then you have some on social media stating that the husband knew that she was having a mental breakdown and still left her with the kids because he went back to go stay with his parents. He claims that he did that because they were having issues in their relationship and he felt like it was better to, distance himself. Mind you, the police are just getting this footage of her doing this stuff because she posted it on social media, but nobody reported her to the cops. She might get deported because she is on immigration hold. It's crazy because there's a trend on TikTok where a whole bunch of moms is online bragging about how they want to get rid of their kids due to postpartum. Is y'all gonna make her a GoFundMe too, like I did Lindsay? Y'all go raise her $1 million because what? You think it's the dad's fault? Y'all go do that this time too? She rubbed hot wax on her kids because her.
I mean, when does the crowdfunding stop? This is, bro. When? Listen, they probably will fundraise for her. You probably gonna have a bunch of Chicanas and Hispanics and whatever. Go gifts and go for this chick. That's how evil. Like, I don't know what's going on, but like, and also I don't understand why a lot of commentators on social media focus on when Black people are raising money because for whatever reason, legal needs or whatever it is. But is nobody paying attention to all of the crowdfunding Satanism that's going on in our country? All the crowdfunding racism. Like, is that not a big deal? Do we not? Where's these millions of dollars going? They raised $1 million for Lindsay Clancy, where's that money going? I tell you what I believe is happening. I believe there's money laundering going. I believe that GiveSendGo, GoFundMe, I think they all need to be investigated for money laundering. Of course, that's not going to happen, but I believe that they're funding sick organizations. I wouldn't doubt if trafficking is being funded. I wouldn't doubt if some of the racist stuff that gets funded is for actual weapons. I wouldn't doubt if it was for training camps, organizations, groups, drugs. I'm telling you, and it's happening. Like, they're doing these things in the open. And it's like, when you see, you can see. And nobody talks about the power of this crowdfunding that they're doing. Any little thing people believe, any satanic thing they believe in, they're literally raising money for it. What's this situation? Let me see.
Breaking news. After we have Lindsay Clancy strangling her 3 kids, legions of women backing her, $1 million raised, now we have...
So did you actually commit the crime that you're pleading guilty to? Yes, ma'am. Tell me what you did. I was under a lot of emotional distress, and my baby came unexpectedly. And instead of helping her...
The baby came unexpectedly. So when somebody was body rocking, knocking your boots, giving you sweet love, somebody body rocking your boots, you ain't think a baby could come out of that? Huh? So the 9 months you was carrying that baby, you mean on the 10th month when you had it, that was unexpected? So you didn't have practically a year after somebody body rocked your boots. You didn't have a year's time to prepare for it. I mean, what are we talking about? I just wasn't prepared, but you was prepared to get your club shot up. Oh, ski. You was prepared for that. It's like, where does accountability come in America when it comes to women? It's like crazy to me. Goodness. I'm telling you, it's crazy. Yup, Real 80 says GiveSendGo is funding wars against the children of Israel and particularly Black America. Absolutely. And they all need to be shut down. GiveSendGo, GoFundMe, all these people. Listen, that's the way the battle, this is where the war is being funded. The war is being funded right there on GiveSendGo and GoFundMe. Anytime you got white supremacists and sadists and all these people rallying behind a cause and they raising millions of dollars towards that cause, this is how these things are going to become prominent. And, you know, it don't even take the mega rich, the billionaires and millionaires to start sitting around a round table and creating these movements anymore. It's gotten compartmentalized in society where people are doing it themselves. They're doing it themselves. If they see something, look, the man up top, not the man up top, but you know, the controllers in the dark, the puppet masters, they don't got to do nothing. They just let society roll with it. Like, literally, Satanism in Babylon is on autopilot. Racism is on autopilot. All they got to do is sit back and watch the ish show. They'll see something crazy happen. Hey, we don't even got to fund that. They're going to fund it themselves. They're going to dig, and even though the economy is falling, these rednecks, white supremacists, sadists, feminists, they're going to still dig in their pockets and put their money where their heart is at. That is crazy. So when we ask why the world like the way it is, why does it feel like it's unraveling? Because the mass majority are in agreement. When we talk about being set apart, we are the few. When we talk about being set apart, it ain't many of us, man. That's what people don't understand. The mass majority of the world is evil as hell. That's why you know, people that you can fit in one room can rule the whole world in darkness and evil, because most people agree with evil, bro. Thank you for the support, Geraldo. I appreciate you, bro. Listen to this mess.
I am sorry. And afterwards, I cleaned up. I didn't tell you.
Okay. So tell me, when you say instead of helping him, you did what?
I ended his life.
How did you end his life, B?
I deprived him of oxygen.
Okay. All right.
That was 22-year-old Lakin Snelling, who suffocated her baby, putting him in a trash bag. And take a look at the comments. She's braver than most. This is what happens when you villainize abortion.
Look at the damn comments. She's brave. She's brave, is what they're saying. No accountability. When you think about the spirit of Jezebel, when you think about the evil, bro, this is what's going to bring in the damn apocalypse, bro. That's right here. It says this is what happened when you villainize abortion. Regardless of people villainize it or not, she still could have done it. And of course, I'm against abortion, but I'm damn sure against you waiting until the baby is born and saying, I can't handle this, I'm ready to check out. This is why the scriptures say, hell have enlarged herself. We in a damn twilight zone, y'all. We in a twilight zone. P Peaks, thank you for the support. I appreciate it. It says, it says a Shiba dog rolling on the floor. Okay, that's an emoji. Cool, cool, cool. But this is wild, man.
This is why choice matters. Follow me on X for more updates. Breaking news.
That's crazy. That is crazy. Oh, that's that Spanish lady. And see, these are things that's just happening right after the Lindsay Clancy situation.
All right, breaking news. Sean Grayson, the former police officer who was...
Let's get the likes up, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get the likes up. Let's go.
...convicted in the murder of Sonia Massey has allegedly died in prison. And I have one very important question that I would like to ask. What are we having for dinner? What is on the menu? I have not eaten today. I haven't had my breakfast, my lunch. I don't know if I was looking at cheese toast. I'll get some cheese toast, some grits, waffles, maybe sausage. Y'all cooking? You cooking? I'm finna come.
Yeah, I mean, you know, we don't have no sympathy or remorse for that Sean Grayson cat. We don't care. We have no sympathy or remorse for him. Let's see here. Oh, look, this is a necessary option for people who are without power too. I wanted to share that.
They are literally putting it in our face what is about to happen, guys. Watch this clip.
Issued a dire warning to the committee Tuesday.
Now, this is important, ladies and gentlemen, because we're seeing these power outages. And they're telling us that what's going on. Everything is planned. Let's go.
The homeland, if there's a conflict, is not going to be a sanctuary anymore. And the first attacks will likely be in the cyber domain, and they will be incredibly disabling.
The public is clueless about the massive cyber attacks that could be launched any day.
I am a war readiness trained medic in the military, and when I hear certain things, it triggers me. He said he wouldn't do it and all of this, and I'm not getting political, but one thing that we need to know, if electricity gets cut off, that means we ain't gonna have no water. Why am I saying that? Everybody in my family is getting one of these. Even if they don't think they need it, they're getting one. Because what this does, you can take dirty water. This one filters up to 1,800 gallons of water. Everybody need to order these. This ain't no joke. I'm not trying to scare people or whatever. I left that link right there. Just get it, because you don't know what's gonna happen. Everybody need this.
Facts though. Like, you know, it's certain tangible items that we gonna need, ladies and gentlemen. And this is not to promote fear. It's just in the spirit of preparedness, because we seeing this can happen anywhere. You got places right now in Georgia without power. Places, Memphis is without power. No, man, you listen. That means you don't have water, and by 3 weeks, it's on and popping. By 3 weeks, it's a real problem. I think in Indiana, they had to boil their water for the first 2 weeks. They had to boil their water, but eventually, man, eventually, you're gonna need that. You're gonna need that. Somebody said, "What's that link, Nubreed?" The link is right there. Let me see. Is it showing the link? Uh,
Get something for everybody in your family. Whether it happens or not, we need to stay ready.
Tap the link and get prepared. Where's the link? I don't see it. It's called Real. It's right here. Real Supply Co. You can get it from Real Supply Co. Yeah, I believe that is a tangible option.
400,000 nasty racist motherfuckers in a social media group talking.
He got copyright music playing.
Oh, I just seen some shit and I would love to know your thoughts. And if it don't apply, then let that shit fly.
And y'all tell me why there's 400,000 people in a group, a racist group, that is going around, and when black families or black people come into their restaurants, and they're the servers and they're the white servers, they're all working together and going to the back and bringing your food out, but it's not coming out regular. They're putting their saliva in your food, y'all. They are putting their saliva and whatever else that they want to put in y'all's food because you're dark-skinned.
Let me say this. I wish a motherfucker would do some shit like that and I catch him. Now, I knew it was some nasty motherfuckers out there, but 400,000? So you telling me there's a group of WPs out here trying to give us their DNA? And I'm only saying it that way because of these TikTok community guidelines. But inquiring minds want to know, what do you think of this shit? Again, if the shit don't apply, don't jump your ass in this comment section. Count me out. Oh!
Man, I'm telling you, man, you can't make this up. You can't make this up. Ladies and gentlemen, get the likes up on the stream. Get the likes up on the stream. We are cooking. We are cooking. Listen, I just don't even trust people with my food like that, man. I don't trust people with my food. These are some nasty bastards. Nasty bastards. They can be doing anything. They can be wiping their ass with your food. You don't know what the hell they got going on. They can see that melanin you got. You and your family in the row house having a good time. Y'all come in there. It's your grandma's birthday. It's your cousin, auntie and them's birthday. Y'all go up there and they don't like seeing us having a good time. Yo, cook at home, cook at home, cook at home. Yeah, cook your own food. Honestly, like, I don't know. I can make a better steak than Texas Roadhouse anyway. They be using all those highly concentrated butters and stuff. They ain't using real food, man. It ain't real food, man. Cook that at home so you can know every ingredient. And, you know, I'm still going over some of the sources. I'm just going through the ones I missed because, you know, I had a little issue with the computer earlier. But for those who just joined in, because like 30 people just jumped in. Yeah, so if you see Spider-Man on the thumbnail, there's a reason for that. Spider-Man, you know, back to some feel-good stories. You know, we got to have balance over here. Spider-Man apparently whooped that trick Jake Lane at that daggone N-word march he did in Minneapolis.
So I don't really know how I missed this part of the story yesterday, but Spider-Man is the reason that white supremacist, humiliation kink lover, and terrible individual Jake Lang is arrested on suspicion of rioting. Spider-Man actually kicked his ass and then threw him in jail. And that's probably the best part about this story, because despite the fact that Jake Lang tried to hold an N-word march in downtown Minneapolis, a place that is a majority black district, and despite the fact that Jake Lang continued to get away with his ridiculous stunts, stunt after stunt after stunt, state after state after state, what it took is a mythical being that was bitten by a radioactive spider to come in and start wailing on him. I'm showing you the video right now because I'm not exaggerating at all. Spider-Man was punching a thug in the face just like he does in the comics over and over and over again. We're still waiting to see if Jake Lang will make bail or will get out like he has every other time, but Minneapolis...
I'm going to take my kids to go see that new Spider-Man. I just took them to see Paw Patrol. I'm going to go and take them to see that Spider-Man now.
Minnesota keeps their information about prisoners and people in jail very closely to the vest. So share this video to help spread the word and follow me to stay in the loop.
Yep, that's true. It says the Real 80 says the baked potatoes at Texas Roadhouse is baked in bacon grease. If you ask for no bacon bits. Wow. See, that's a damn lawsuit right there. For real. That's the thing. They listen, a lot of them heathens, man, they like cooking in swine's flesh and lard and all of that all the time too, man. It's just better to just cook at home. Once you prepare your meal at home, it just be better anyway. I mean, unless, it's some trusted locations, But yo, Spider-Man did his thing, man. He did his thing.
Jake Lang has been arrested yet again after his group drove on a sidewalk towards a crowd of people in Minnesota. He arrived in Minneapolis around 11:50 a.m. with 6 other people in 2 separate vehicles. The MPD put up pedestrian barricades to keep the opposing crowds separate, but Lang's vehicles unexpectedly and abruptly swerved onto the sidewalk directly in front of City Hall towards a large gathering of counter-protesters. As the vehicles drove down the sidewalk, Lang stood in the back of a pickup truck holding up a very provocative sign containing horrific language. This, of course, immediately caused a volatile clash, and counter-protesters quickly swarmed the vehicles. Then people started punching and shoving each other. There was one insane moment where a guy dressed up as Spider-Man jumped into the back of Lang's moving truck and wrestled and tackled the men in the bed. Mace was then deployed by both sides. The fumes traveled across blocks of downtown Minneapolis, disrupting arriving fans heading to a Minnesota Vikings home game. MPD officers then intervened and forced the vehicles off the sidewalk. The 2 vehicles then fled the scene, but were tracked down by local law enforcement, and everybody in them was arrested. Jake Lang has been arrested yet again after his group drove on a sidewalk.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the social fragmentation. This is it. This is the moral inversion. This is the collective dysregulation. Civilization. Listen, this is a civilized decade. This is it. This is Babylon. That's what it looks like. We're gonna have good moments. We're gonna have funny moments. We're gonna have ups and downs. We're gonna have times where we get vindicated rather. And I think it's one of those moments, the free Spider-Man, you know what I'm saying? It is what it is. And Jake Lang, he's arrested again, probably a damn federal asset. He'll be back out, causing more confusion. Here it is. If you burn an American flag, you're gonna do Fed time in America. If you burn an American flag on camera, they're giving you Fed time. But you got Jake Lang who can do an N-word march. He could do an N-word march, cause all this chaos, and that's lawful. People couldn't even protest against ICE without getting tore out the frame. I'm telling you, just can't make it up. You just can't make it up.
We need to talk about Gary, Indiana, because the mainstream media isn't, and they've been without electricity for 2 weeks after storms.
Damaging storms came through Gary, Indiana last week, and over 22,000 people still do not have electricity in the Midwest in the middle of August. And get this, it's not expected to be restored until August 25th. And here's the part we can't ignore. The city of Gary, Indiana has been disinvested in for decades.
Hey, that was a sister that shared something about an incident that took place. I had it shared up on my screen, but I lost that comment. So if you could share that again, because you were asking me, did I see something about 6 white T kids did what now? If you're still viewing the stream, please repeat that. I meant to read that comment because I'm always researching what's going on, and I don't think I heard about that story.
And it's a predominantly black community. 76% of residents are black. 1 in 3 people living in Gary, Indiana live below the federal poverty line.
So let's be clear. We're not making this a race issue. It is a race issue.
Chaos and mayhem are just a couple of words that can be used to describe what's going on in Indiana. And why is no one talking about it? Parts of Indiana currently have no gas, no electricity, and roads completely jammed up. Have a listen to this for yourself.
It's like a horror movie out here. We've got helicopters everywhere. The roads are parking lots. It's like we're all trying to exit town and there's no gas, no power, nowhere to go. We're stuck. The car is officially off, no gas. It's hot. We've got all the doors open. And Agner's annoyed, so I'm going to stop updating you guys. He wants me to sit here in hot silence and just burn up and do nothing.
And you heard exactly what that woman just said in the video. They have no gas, no electricity, lines of cars stranded everywhere, and scenes like this playing out all across Indiana. And residents are also being urged to stay away from gas stations due to the fact that there is no gas. And some individuals were pictured right here rationing gas and putting it into containers and then into their vehicles. And Googling what happened in Indiana after storms struck, most local gas stations lost the ability to pump fuel.
Yeah, because you need electricity.
Because they lacked backup generators. Open gas stations saw massive lines stretching over half a mile as residents tried to fill vehicles and home generators. And according to this right here, over 260,000 customers lost power, which shut down local gas station pumps, emptied grocery shelves, and left stranded residents waiting hours in long lines for fuel and generators. And as scary as this sounds and looks, everyone should pay attention to this, because if it can happen here, where else could it happen in the event of another emergency? And once again, the bottom line here is it's completely crazy to believe and try to comprehend that a state in the United States is currently without electricity or fuel, and people are rationing, and lines are insane.
America is falling. Babylon is falling. We're being mindful and we're being watchful, because Matthew 24:42 says, "Watch ye therefore, for ye know not what hour the Lord doeth come." So, we're taking heed. We're being watchful. We're doing exactly what the Bible told us to do in this time, being observant of what's going on. Mark 13:33 says, "Take heed, watch and pray, for ye know not when the time is up." Take heed means pay attention. Means pay attention. Don't let nobody, shame you for being a quote unquote conspiracy theorist when everything that you actually predicted or see actually is happening. It's actually happening. The power outages are here. The water shortages are here. Ravines, lakes are drying up. Anarchy is breaking free in certain states in America right now. The economy is off the chain. All that stuff is really going on. Luke 21:34, it says, "And take heed to yourself, lest any time your hearts be overcharged with fighting and cares of this life, and so that day come upon you unaware." You can't get caught up in the trials of this life all the time. You can't get caught up with the daily rigmarole all the time, because then when everything hit the fan, guess what? You're caught unaware. You're caught unaware. You know, there's a powerful difference between distraction and desensitization. You know, you don't want either. Because when you distracted, you're desensitized. You know, when you consume in everyday life, and when I mean consume, I'm talking about doom scrolling, not paying attention, caught up in drama, nonsense, BS, gossip, then I'm telling you, you can be caught unaware. You can be caught unaware. Where Luke 12:54. Luke 12:54 says, how is that ye do not deserve it says you can see the weather and basically prepare, but how do you not discern the times? Ye hypocrites. How could you see everything that's going on? All the writings are written all over the wall, but you can't discern the time. But you know when it's about to rain outside and you go get your umbrella. You can tell when the sky is gray. Hey, it's about to rain. Man, look, it's about to rain in America. It's about to rain. It's already raining. I can't even say about to no more. Look what's going on. Romans 13:11. Knowing the time, and now it is high time to awake out of your slumber. Time to wake up, wake up, wake up. 1 Thessalonians 5:4. Be ye brethren, but ye brethren are not in darkness, that day should overtake you as a thief. Therefore, let us not sleep as do others, and let us watch and be sober. You know why we show you what's going on in the world? So we don't sleep like others. Everybody can't relate to the conversations that we have on this platform, ladies and gentlemen. Everybody cannot connect to what we can see. Everybody don't choose to see. People choose to remain oblivious and blind, but they are going to get caught unaware. They're going to get caught. We're not going to sleep like everybody else. Ephesians 5:15. See that ye walk circumspectly, not as fools, but as the wise, redeeming the time, because the days are evil. Because the days are evil. Now, when you look at that word circumspectly, that word is very important, because it means to attentively with awareness of, it says to watch attentively with awareness what's going on around you. So when it talks about moving circumspectly, that's what we doing. When you show up to these streams, ladies and gentlemen, you're doing exactly what the scriptures is telling you to do. You're watching. Of course, you know, you can do your private research, but you're doing what the scriptures say, because you know on this platform, we're bringing you everything that's going on in real time from a biblical perspective. I'm telling you, ladies and gentlemen, and I got another scripture, and it's Ezekiel 33:7, and it reads, would then be a perfect, it reads, I have set thee a watchman unto the house of Israel. The Most High set us to be watchmen in the house of Israel. See, the Bible never instructed believers to walk through this world oblivious. Scripture says, understand the times, discern the times, know the time, take heed, watch and pray. And when I'm showing you what's going on in Gary, when I'm showing you the racial tension, what's happening in these courtrooms, what's happening culturally, I'm not telling you to live in fear. I'm telling you to pay attention. A watchman who refuses to watch just ain't doing their job. But you know, glory to the Most High that y'all got the eyes to see and the ears to hear. Yes, yes, yes. One love to everybody. We went into the 2-hour mark. It's been a good broadcast. We had a little technical issues at the beginning, but we pushed through. as we always do. I want to thank everybody for viewing. And I want to say this too, ladies and gentlemen, if you don't have YouTube Premium, if you can spare the $15 to get YouTube Premium, I would actually advise all my followers to pay for the YouTube Premium. I'm telling you, I went a couple weeks without YouTube Premium, and my viewing experience on this platform was trash. I mean, they run ads at the most inopportune moments. It makes a total difference in you being able to actually get the info. I mean, it's so many programs that I try to view without my YouTube Premium, and it is an absolute headache. They made it so you have to get it. They running ads after every sentence. You can't even get into a podcast. So, yeah, ladies and gentlemen, if you can spare it, do the YouTube Premium. It's gonna make such a difference. It's such a difference in your viewing experience. You know, it's like $15. They went up on it, but I mean, damn it, you gotta pay that 15 because it's just not a good experience unless you don't have these ads running. But man, I was looking for that one story the sister was trying to share. She might have left. But yeah, even the ads interrupt live stream. So yeah, you gotta do what you gotta do. But one love to y'all. Thank y'all so much, man. Support me on nubreedglobaltruth.com, ladies and gentlemen. I got updates on the site. The Truth Maxing t-shirts are out. So get your Truth Maxing t-shirts on nubreedglobaltruth.com, as well as get your Nubreed soap. We got the Nubreed soaps out as well. So, hey, listen, we're going to be out here smelling good, looking good, and feeling good. Also, feel free to support me via Cashapp, Nubreed Global Truth. All your contributions are appreciated. Listen, let me see. Nisha says, I sent you a story. I sent the story to your Instagram. Okay, so I do want to just go over this story. I may have to pick it up in the next broadcast, Nisha. That's what I'll do. I'm going to check it out, and I'm going to have to, when I do my next current event stream, we'll talk about it. Yep. But one love to y'all. More material coming. Everybody make sure y'all hype the stream up. Thank y'all so much for being a great audience. And a lot of y'all stuck around even when we had technical issues, and I really respect that. I have a very, very powerful audience, and I'm rocking with y'all. One love to everybody. Stay safe. With that being said,